yesterday I read some excerpts from Bob Nightengale's column, USA Today, where he's talking about Barry Bonds and that Barry's not a convicted felon anymore. Therefore, we should open up the doors there for the Hall of Fame. And then Bob started talking about Mike Piazza in the column, saying if Piazza gets in, and Piazza, I think, will get in this next year with Trevor Hoffman and Ken Griffey Jr. So therefore, Bond should be, that's opening the door on the rumor innuendo guys, the steroid guys. So Bob joins us now. Bob, how are you?
Doing great, Dan. Yourself?
I'm doing okay. Summarize your take on Barry Bonds.
Well, I mean, here's the greatest player we've ever seen, right? I mean, you can go back to Babe Ruth days. I mean, he's probably the best player since Ruth. And the bottom line is, the best players that belong in the Hall of Fame. Never gambled, never flunked a drug test, and now, nothing against him. He was just cleared of all charges, so now not even a convict anymore. So, why are we picking and choosing as far as who we want in when some of these guys have the same innuendo and rumors about him that we put in Cooperstown, but yet we hold against him because he happened to break Hank Aaron's record.
Okay, but who has rumor innuendo attached to them that's already in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, there's got to be at least 6-8 guys. I mean, you go on the last year's ballot, 4 guys got in. The only guy that was never any suspicion about anyone was John Smoltz.
Yeah.
There was plenty of rumors about the other guys. Not saying they did anything, but we, I think we'd be very naive to think we don't have any Hall of Famers that use PEDs.
But so you think there are guys that are in the Hall of Fame who use PEDs?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
But if I look at Piazza, since he's going to be the next guy to get in, he never failed a drug test, right?
Nope.
But a lot of rumor innuendo. Bagwell never failed a drug test.
Nope.
A lot of rumor innuendo. Why doesn't Bagwell get in? Sammy Sosa never failed a drug test. Why is he not getting in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. I mean, I think on Sosa, you might go back to that 2003 anonymous test, but yeah, he hasn't come close. I mean, the only guy who's ever admitted to taking steroids that's a Hall of Fame candidate was Mark McGwire.
Yeah.
He's the only guy on the ballot ever. You look at last year's ballot, there were 34 names on it. 22 of those names, had rumors on it.
Yeah.
I think he should be judged by the same guy. I mean, Piazza is going to get in. Bagwell is going to get in. And don't tell me these guys are even half the player that Barry Bonds was.
Okay, but if I said bet a week's pay, Bonds used performance-enhancing drugs.
Oh, I would agree with that.
Okay. Clemens?
Yes.
So, but you're still going to vote for him, even though you're saying they never failed a drug test. Therefore, we can't hold that against them. But we all feel that they cheated.
Right. I mean, but at the same token, and we're talking about well over half the guys in baseball were doing something. I mean, Bonds, how many home runs did he hit off guys were doing the same thing? Same as McGwire, and Clemens is facing plenty of hitters. The main thing is all the body shape, the power, and everything else. You look at Bagwell and Piazza, same type of thing.
Yep.
I mean, Bonds was a first-round draft choice. Piazza was a 62nd-round draft choice. So it's hard to think that all these great scouts all missed on Mike Piazza, who was a backup first baseman at junior college, then suddenly became a Hall of Fame player. And I do vote for Piazza.
The problem starts with the Players Association. Remember, only 5% were dirty, Bob?
Right.
Remember that silly stat? And Don Fear, stonewalled baseball that, nobody was going to get tested because, there's a lot of money to be made here. That's really what this came down to. That we're going to protect your privacy. And these guys made a whole lot of money because of steroids.
Yeah, and the clubs made a whole lot of money off steroids.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
were steroids good? Were they good for baseball?
I think it was. I mean, after the strike, everybody was so upset with baseball. Attendance was down. Everybody hated baseball. All of a sudden, you say what you want about Sosa McGwire. I think they really helped save the sport. I mean, those guys were on the cover of Time magazine. Every newscast, people breaking in. So I think it was. And you talk to general managers, they knew what was going on. The only time the general managers would ever get upset is if they sign or trade for a guy who was using steroids, who suddenly got morals and got off them. That's what they got upset.
like, how dare you? We got you because you cheated.
Exactly.
And now okay. That brings me to Alex Rodriguez. The Yankees knew what they were buying, And, they signed up for this. Should the Yankees honor this, I guess, historical moment as he ties Willie Mays on the all-time home run list and pay him his $6 million and celebrate A-Rod's milestone?
I think they should, and I don't agree with the Yankees knew what they're getting because there was no suspicions on A-Rod before he signed that contract. There really weren't.
Well, no, in Texas there was.
Not
look at the guys he ran with.
They
taught him. That was steroids 101. Canseco had a class.
You're right.
He did his doctorate down there on this. So they were all. Come on. I think you can trace.
But we didn't have it wasn't like widespread rumors. It wasn't the same rumors he had on Bonds and Clemens and Piazza and all that stuff. But by that being said, I think it's silly.
Wait,
Yankees
Bob. Hold on. You don't think that when he opted out and jumped back in and got them to pony up even more stupid money, the Yankees were not aware? All you have to do is ask other players, and they would tell you. It doesn't take long, to find some information on this. You don't think the Yankees either knew it or chose to look the other way?
They may have chosen to look the other way. I mean, there were a lot more rumors per se on a Jason Giambi would they look the other way and sign him. I don't think it was nearly the same type of rumors with A-Rod.
Do you think Toronto knew that the Red Sox cast off Clemens? He was done, and then Toronto gets him. Do you think that they knew once he started to pitch like he was Walter Johnson or the old Clemens that he was cheating?
Oh, sure, and they loved it. A couple Cy Young awards from it, and absolutely loved it. I mean, teams.
I like this moral compass. Sometimes, it points in a different direction depending on the player and the time.
Yeah, I mean, the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers, half those teams, were doing stuff. I mean, they were bigger and stronger than everybody else. It was a joke. But I think the Yankees should celebrate 660. It's a huge number, and it's kind of silly to have milestones on guys' different stolen base attempts and stuff like that. And there's not one word on Alex Rodriguez in a milestone sheet. They're not even allowed to talk about him on the air as far as putting the word milestone in it.
What about Pete Rose working for Fox, the All-Star Game in Cincinnati? You're a Hall of Fame voter. Do you think in Pete's lifetime he's on the ballot?
I do think he gets on the ballot. I used to think he'll get in, but he won't be alive to see it.
Me too.
I think he's got. I don't think he's going to get reinstated now. It may be 4 or 5 years down the road. I mean, the best thing he's got going for him is that so far the proof is just gambling as a manager, not as a player. He goes into the Hall of Fame as a player, and he has served a long time. I mean, there's guys, murdering people, have gone off after 25, 30 years.
Do you think he bet as a player?
There's certainly plenty of allegations. I've heard that. It's almost like those steroid things. You don't know for sure. But you certainly heard that. No, O'Dowd certainly does.
But this is allegations. This is rumor innuendo, which takes me back to Barry Bonds or Sammy Sosa or Mike Piazza. The rumor innuendo, this is basically Pete saying, I didn't flunk a drug test. If you have it and they can prove it, then I don't think he's getting into the Hall of Fame. But as if he did, I know he did it as a manager, but if he did it as a player, would that be the final straw for you?
Yeah, it would be. I mean, every clubhouse in America, every time you walked in, huge sign, no gambling, no gambling. Never were there any signs until recently, no steroids, no PEDs. Nobody cared about that, but they've always cared about gambling.
Is there a sign on the in the locker rooms that say no steroids, please, no HGH, please?
Yeah, I mean not the exact words, but yeah, I mean just that's illegal drugs, but always gambling. Everybody knew you gamble, you're out. But steroids, hey, you use it, and you should go to the Hall of Fame if you do it better than everybody else.
By the way, what happened to my cuddly Kansas City Royals? Now they've gone all Pacquiao Mayweather on everybody.
Tell you what, they stir up some interest. I mean, they're a blast to watch. I'm not saying you want to see that every single night, but it's kind of cool to see these guys have such a chip on their shoulder that people weren't thinking they were going to win the American League pennant again. That last year was a fluke. They're out to prove everybody wrong. I mean, some of these things are wild. Justin Marja, though, he went hard last night. I would not want to stand that guy's way.
No. By the way, is Chris Bryant going to be an All-Star?
Ooh, good question. He may be. He may get enough fan votes with what he's done. I'll tell you what, as good as the player he is on the field, off the field, it's unbelievable how polished this kid is and what a great speaker, eloquent. I mean, he'll be a huge role model for baseball.
Bob, keep stirring it up.
My pleasure, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Bob Nightengale.